add the screen flow to the homepage, kind of test some records, and then we're going to make some updates to this flow. So here I'm in the Lighting App Builder on the Lighting Record page for my home page on my custom app. I'm just adding the flow component and selecting the correct flow and saving the record, saving the Lighting Record page. And so now I should be able to see that screen flow on the page, which I can. I'm going to just kind of go ahead and skip ahead here and just walk through that flow. And you can see here that it actually worked and it created a test record. But today we're really going to focus on kind of making some enhancements to it a little bit, because it's kind of pretty basic right now. And so first I want to start with adding a couple new screens. So one in the beginning to kind of launch the screen flow, kind of say, hey, let's create a goal. Let's start here. And then another one at the end to let the users know that the record is created. So here we're just creating some display text that's going to say, let's create a goal. And this will be kind of our first screen here. So I've got that. I'm going to update the footer a little bit to hide some of the buttons and then actually use a custom label to say start instead of next. So we're just kind of giving that visual representation of kind of kicking off the screen flow. And then we'll go to the end and add another screen. Again, just letting the users know that the record has been created. So I'll add another screen element here on the flow canvas. We'll just say that your goal has been created. Kind of update it a little bit. As you can see, it's a rich text field with that display text, so kind of bolded it, big font, changed the color, and centered the text as well. Go ahead and save the flow, just better safe than sorry here. And then now, I didn't really like that slider that we put in last time for putting in the target amount for a savings goal. So I'm actually going to delete it and just update it to a currency field. But first I have to remove the reference from the component from that create records element. So I did that here. Now I'm going to remove that goal amount and just put in a simple currency field. So we'll do that, give it a similar label, so target amount. And so this way the users can just type in the amount instead of using the slider. So do that, and then going back to the create records element where we create that savings goal, I just want to make sure that the value in the target amount field is what the users input into the target amount currency field on the screen. All right, so we made a few of those enhancements. Now we want to kind of add some logic into the flow a little bit. So we have the choice, or the type of goal we want, which is a budget or savings goal, and then monthly or yearly. But right now we're just creating a savings goal. So we want to add a decision element in here to determine, did the user select budget or savings? And depending on what the user selected, let's go ahead and create the proper goal record, either a budget goal or a savings goal. When you add a decision element, you have to at least, you can add different outcomes. For this one, we just have two. So you want to make sure you give a label of one of them and then kind of update your default outcome. And then you can set conditions. So for this, I want to make sure that if it's a type of goal, a budget, then that's the kind of path within the flow that we want to follow. And so now I need to kind of just copy and paste or cut and paste some of my elements and put them in the proper decision path. So I'm going to do that for all the elements related to a savings goal. As you can see here, the screen for creating the record, going and getting a related record, and then creating the goal. So now in the budget decision path, I want to do the same thing. So I want to create a screen that kind of allows the users to input values for certain fields that might be applicable for a budget goal. And then we'll do another element to create that budget goal record. I'm just going to add display text here in a section and then kind of update the section a little bit and add in the proper other components like a text field, currency field, and then a pick list field. So I have those here, name, budget amount, and then budget category. And with this one, that's a pick list. So I'm going to create a new choice resource, choose pick list choice set. And with this, you can actually utilize a pick list field and pick list values that you've created in Object Manager. So that way you don't have to kind of create a bunch of different choices within the screen flow. So I have to give an API name, then I'm going to search for the object. For this one, I want to do budget goal. I'm going to do pick list, and then I'll find the pick list field that I want to use. In this instance, it is the category field. So that way, when we're on the screen, the choices that I'll select are the pick list values I've already created for that field. Awesome, so we've got the budget info screen, and now we want to create a record, a budget goal record based on some of the values that we input with that screen. So I'm going to do that now. I'll use separate resources and literal values. Go ahead and search for a budget goal object, and then add my fields and make sure all the values kind of map accordingly. So I'll find a name field, I'll match it to the budget name, amount, category, and the monthly or yearly. And then I've mapped those fields that would be on the record to the variables within the flow. As you can see here, yearly or monthly, I left blank because, again, we need to determine there is a choice within the flow. Is this monthly or yearly? So now we need to add some more logic into this to make sure that we populate that correctly. So I'll go ahead and add another decision point after the budget info screen, and we're going to call this one monthly or yearly. So if the user chose the monthly radio button, then we'll populate that monthly or yearly text field on the budget goal record with monthly, and if it's yearly, we'll populate it with yearly. So it's kind of a similar conditions and similar outcomes as we did with the, are we doing a budget or a savings? So I'll update the labels to monthly or yearly, and then on the monthly one, I'll make sure I set my resources and values correctly. So I want to say that the monthly or yearly radio button in this instance should equal the monthly text value. And then if that's the case, I will populate the record that we create with the proper value. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste and cut and paste these create record elements so that way I don't have to create them again. And then we'll go in and update the value for that text field accordingly. So under the monthly decision tree or decision path, we'll set the monthly or yearly field to monthly, and then for the yearly decision path, we'll set it to yearly. So again, I click the create records element, go down here to the field, and go ahead and put the value that I want for that. And then I'll go ahead and just do the same on the savings side. So again, create that decision tree, and then populate it, use the same decision points, and copy and paste the elements in there. All right, so now we did that. Let's go ahead and test this, but let's do it inside Flow Builder actually versus going to the screen. So we'll use what's called the debug. You can see that there in the top right. So this is a debugger inside of Flow. You can get a bunch of details, which you'll see on the right-hand side. So here we go. We'll start this. We'll choose a savings goal. And we'll choose yearly. You can see that the debug element is kind of giving us the results over here on the right-hand side, letting us know that this is flowing properly. So here we're on the correct screen. So this is the screen we want to see when creating a savings goal. Go ahead and just create a test record here. And then as you can see, we have the currency field instead of the slider. Click next, and now you can see that a record was created. And our logic worked correctly. So now let's run it again, and let's try a budget goal this time. So we'll do budget and monthly, and hey, this is not the right screen. I wonder what happened. Actually, I do know what happened. I didn't use the right resource in that first decision. So I'm going to go back to my flow canvas here, and let's go into this decision and edit the element. So you can see I actually chose the wrong resource. I chose monthly or yearly equals budget, and I actually needed to choose the type of goal. So, and luckily with the debugger, I was able to catch that. So we'll go down and we'll pick the correct component here, which should be, I think I named it type of goal. Yeah, there it is. Type of goal. So the type of goal needs to equal budget. So that way we can get to the proper screen and create a budget record. Or excuse me, a budget goal record. All right, so that should be right. Go ahead and save it as a new version just in case. And we'll try to debug it again and make sure it works properly this time. Activate it just for why not? And let's run the debugger. All right, hopefully it should work this time. So again, we're doing a budget goal, a monthly budget goal, and yeah, there we go. We're on the right screen this time. So the logic worked. It's following the correct decision path. So we'll just give it kind of a test goal name and amount, choose a category, click next, and there we go. It is created. So thanks everyone for watching and joining along, and this is again the second part of creating a stream flow and doing a little bit more customization and adding some decision points. So thanks again.